Yeah, we talked about, we were going to switch some ball screens and we wanted to foul on the floor. I told the official, let's put him on the line and we're not going to foul one that is on the floor. And that was the plan. And then sometimes the best laid plans, it didn't work. We did a good job actually guarding it. And I think in that situation, Casey thought, well, there's only 3 or 4 seconds left. He's in a tough spot, but we tried to foul and didn't do it very well. But so that was tough. So I thought we showed some great grit and resolve in overtime. And as I told Jimmy in the radio, I said there were some really good moments, for both teams. Guys making plays. They were without, Childress, which is a big loss for them. We were without Cody, and there were certainly good moments on both teams. And as I said, there were certainly some head scratcher moments where you just scratch your head and say, well, that was interesting on both teams. That's part of teams, continuing to try to find themselves and grow through different experiences. But I thought Danny had his guys ready without a key score, and they moved the ball, and some of their kids stepped up. So I told them that after. I know that stings because both of us had our chances to win it. Long answer to a short question. So there you go, Jeff. Don't ask any more questions. Yeah, that was huge. We need it. They played zone every possession, and with our shooting percentages, people are either going to, some people, not all, but are going to really back off. So he hit those 7 threes. We didn't make another three except Jay, and Jay's been playing really well for us. And he didn't have one of his better games today, but he's really been playing well up to this point. But to come in off the bench and bang that three, my hat goes off to him because that was huge, and that was the only other three. Besides Thomas. But Thomas, you need that. He stretched the defense, and he certainly, he can shoot it, and that was really good to see, even though I don't know what our overall percentage was for the game, but we'll take anybody making them. So good game for Thomas.
CL then Doug.
What is click for Thomas?
Yeah, he's that's an adjustment. I know he came from a community college, and he actually had surgery, so he missed the end of his year. He had a wrist surgery similar to what happened to Braxton. So I think some of that was part of the issue. But just playing, this is whether you're a high school senior coming in and playing in your first year, or your first experience from community college to this level. And so I think he's continuing to learn the system and where he can be aggressive, and he's unaffected. He's not afraid to shoot, and I like that. He just takes some shots. He'll make 2 or 3. He might shoot an air ball and take the next one, and I like that. And he's a lefty, so that's another good thing. And he's Italian, so that's even another good thing.
Doug.
Just talk about the importance of a win after you kind of struggled with
Yeah. Doug, we've been every game we've lost, we've either been ahead or tied under 4 or 5 minutes. And, it's for this team, how do you figure out how to win? And that was deflating how it ended in regulation. But the ability to, whether it was come up with a stop, get an offensive rebound. Again, we had some moments where we missed free throws, missed some breakaways, missed dunks. All those things happen. But and certainly Wake Forest had some things they did too, and they had something to do with it. But to come out away with one was important because in this league, as you're seeing, who's ever ready and whoever's playing the best has a chance. It doesn't seem like there's some excellent teams, but I think everybody's in play.
Aaron on the left.
They got off to a terrible shooting.
Yeah. Well, I thought we had, again, some breakdowns that didn't need to happen to allow them to hit some of those open shots, just some breakdowns, and then we fouled them. We kept putting them on the line, and they got a lot of their points at the free throw line, and that kind of got them going. Had some shaky play in the start of the second half, but there's so many possessions in a game, and you just kind of keep knocking, keep playing. And the guys, again, showed some play, whether it was X-factor plays, keeping a ball alive off of a free throw rebound, tip plays, and just battling. So I liked, again, the grit. Someone told me, they said, your team's gritty. They don't have moxie yet down the stretch. Well, hopefully we showed some grit, and we're moving that needle a little closer to having some composure down the stretch. And that's a process, but big win for us. And again, very thankful, and we'll learn a lot. And now I said we put it behind, and now we get ready for an excellent team on Tuesday.
Take one right here in the front.
Tony, what did you tell your team? How thankful were you to have that opportunity to kind of gather them for that one last game?
At the end of regulation or at the end of the overtime? Yeah, we said now we're up 2. We're not trying to foul on this time. Let's make sure we got to really. We said it 3 or 4 times, and we just had make them earn. And I said, let's get a rebound and get out of here. Well, thankfully, we didn't need to get a rebound because we did a pretty good job defending. And, he got – who had the ball? It was the Sar. He kind of looked like, oh, Lord, he's going to be there and get to the rim, but time ran out. And I think Momedy was there, but it was just try to be sound, make him make a tough shot. Don't bail him out with a foul and be ready to rebound. And I think we did initially a good job to start it. But they had good action. Danny runs good stuff, late game stuff. That's all his NBA experience. They got some tricky stuff.
Yeah, take one more right here.
Coach, Kie is always so poised within the flow of the offense.
Yeah, for sure. I told him to. I thought he hesitated. He passed up a couple where just catch and shoot in rhythm. Sometimes when you kind of measure it and eye it up, and they got a piece of the one he shot. That's tough. When we played Syracuse, when either you're not feeling your shot and they're almost daring you, you have to take some. And then he was getting in the paint, and he has a lot. He balls in his hands a whole lot. And we tried to move it around a little more and go inside. But absolutely, if the look is there and it's at the right time, you have to step up and shoot it with confidence. And we'll keep working on that.
Okay, thanks. We'll have a few players available outside.